another one, yeah. Except for spun, yeah. Oh, he's another one. He's another one, yeah.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode. This is actually the 8th episode of Across the Way, US to the UK. I'm the commissioner, aka TRILL Dollar Bill. And you already know what it is. Shout out to my co-host Rico, who couldn't be with us today because he's a little under the weather, but it's all love. You already know what it is. Before we get to this dope panelist I got, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, D-Rock Clothing. You know what it is. You know, real ones do real things. And we also wear the real things as well. So shout out to D-Rock Clothing. You see my brother Trey, he got it on. You shout out to Joseph Parker and everybody else who got it on. You know how we rocking. You know what I'm saying? So before we get into these topics and before we kick off this show, I want everybody to introduce themselves. You know, anybody start off first. Let them know who you are.
All right.
Let's
so,
have you.
you're going to have the neutral? You go for it,
No,
man.
I was going to say, you're the top man here. On you go.
Oh, nah, big up to you, man. Obviously, big up to the community. And, just big up to everyone that's here today. Just to quickly introduce myself, I'm yours truly, Trey. So I'm a co-host of the Boxing Roundup. And also, we wear many hats. So what the commissioner, a.k.a. TRILL Dollar Bill, says. But enough about me. This ain't my show. This is TRILL's show. And I just want to hand it over to the rest of the people. So neutral, you got to go next, my brother.
Shout out to Trey. He's a real one. And like you said before, you know what I'm saying? He wears many hats. You know, and it makes everything possible. And we appreciate you over here, brother. I want to let you know that from the heart. Now to my man, Mr. Neutral Corners.
You have said it right, Trey. All day I've been tinkering with that name, Mr. Neutral. And I'll just let you all know now, the Neutral's Corner will be changing his name to Mr. Neutral. Ray Dollar Trill, you are the man. Thank you very much for that. I've been thinking about it all day. It just makes sense. Big up to my man, yours truly, the boss man, the entrepreneur, the man that knows what's going on at iBoxingHub and gives you all to the community. And of course, our guest here, the new man on the block. Big up to you, sir. I'm Neutral's Mr. Neutral now, and I'll be standing in for Rico tonight. And it's a great honor. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Neutral Corners is a great boxing mind, everybody. He's trying to be humble right now, but he's a great boxing mind, and I can't wait to tap in with this gentleman, and we're going to do something special for y'all. Next is my main man, Alex. Let him know who you are, my brother.
Well, as Trill said, my name's Alexander. I've been a follower of the Boxing Bros for years, and recently on another show, they gave me the nickname Alexander the Great, but you can call me Alex Alexander, whatever you want.
That's my man, Alex, right?
Alex the Great sounds good.
He's been down since day one, a great supporter. He's been even a great supporter for Boxing Bros and a great supporter of the iBoxingHub family. And listen, we're just great to have you here. I just kept saying that it's going to be a time where I get to have you on and we get to chop it up boxing face to face. And I'm glad that you're here. You know, and shout out to our conversations. We got my man James in the building. You know, Roz in the building. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be an epic show. We're just going to kick it right off. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to kick it right off. My first question is right this. Ben Rodriguez, number 5 on the pound for pound list. You know what I'm saying? This is breaking news, right? He just made it. You know, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's warranted or do you think it's too soon? I'm gonna start with you, Trey. How you feeling?
Yes, obviously, big up to you. Big up to you, honestly. Obviously, Ross just mentioning about Fight Zone, UK, US. That's obviously going to be a big card. So we'll talk about that at some point. Or you could talk about it on the R&R. So, Bam, I think it's a good time. Pound for pound definitely has to be based on what you're doing, activity in the ring, and that performance against Estrada. Lads, we have to big up Bam Rodriguez because that performance was truly special. And obviously Neutral did the watch along for it. It was truly tremendous. and I just love the energy. I like what Bam brings to the sport, and put him in the top 5. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Especially since you did the watch along, Paulie. Let me know how you feel, Neutral. How you feel about Ben Rodriguez getting his respect and getting put on number 5 pound for pound?
Well, there's no doubt about it. 100%, he should be in the pound for pound rankings. Now, I've had Bam Rodriguez in my pound for pound rankings for the past 3 Neutrals Corner pound for pound lists, and the only ones that are exclusive on Twitter. But I've had him at 10, 9, 8. Now he's gone to 6. I know he's a 3-weight world champion, unified flyweight, but sorry, is flyweight, super flyweight, 2-time world champion. Yes, he should be in a pound for pound. Can I put him above Canelo? Right now, not yet. Not yet. That's why he's my pound for pound number 6. He's still got a wee bit to go because the top 5 are elite, undisputed. Then you got Canelo and the bevel with the Canelo beater. That's why Bam is number 6. He's on the peripheral of greatness, and the 24 that will come in the next couple of years.
Okay, Alex, how you feel about that?
Well, before this fight, I did not have him on my pound for pound list because I hadn't watched too much of him. I only really started paying attention to him when he beat Sonny Edwards, and that was a good fight. And I made sure to keep an eye on him since then. I would not argue, like mid. I wouldn't say top 5 yet, but 8, 9, 7 around that range is good for me.
I like that. Both of y'all, all of y'all actually made some sound points. I would like to add that I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm the champ for the little guys. I actually was the one that said that he would stop the great Estrada. I believe that this was the passing of the gods. This was the term this term, right, where we appreciate a young fighter in one bam. This happens. This comes along where a young fighter, makes his mark and takes out the old fighters and and starts to make history. I think Bam belongs on that list. I'm not going to argue at number 5. I like how Ring Magazine has number 5. How he's been accomplishing is boxing is what have you done recently?
Yes.
Recently, this young man has been showing up and he has been showing out, and now he has moved up 3 weight classes. He's moving faster and anything. He's only 24 years old. I have no beef with it at all. Shout out to Ben Rodriguez and shout out to Robert Garcia and everybody down there in Arsenal, California. Everybody knows I'm a huge fan of Robert Garcia and his team. But since we talk about pound for pounds, right off the top, Alex, give me your top 5 pound for pound.
All right. I thought hard about this. My top 5 pound for pound as it stands. Number 1, the man at heavyweight, Alexander Usyk. That's my guy because he's the only one beating guys that are 50+ pounds heavier than him in the ring. So he's got it for me. Next, we got one of Trill's little guys. We got Naoya Inoue, the monster.
Mm-hmm.
The real monster in boxing, not David Benavidez. But I got Naoya Inoue at second. Third, bit of American bias, but I got Terrence Bud Crawford. I know pound for pound is a little bit of what have you done for me lately, but Crawford, just that performance over Spence. I didn't even pick him to beat Spence. I picked Spence to win by a close decision. But just to go out and beat a pound for pound fighter like that, like he didn't belong in the ring with you, I got to give it to Bud. Number 4, I got Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Saul.
Yep. Canelo's my guy. I've been a big fan of him for a long time, so it's only right that he's still in my top 5 pound for pound. And number 5, I had to debate between the 2 champs at light heavyweight, but I ultimately went with Artur Beterbiev. 20 wins, 20 knockouts. He's my number 5 pound for pound.
Not mad at that list. I'm not mad at that list. That's a tough list. Let me see what you got, Neutral Corners. Who you got, pound for pound? Your top 5.
Well, first and foremost, I have to big up Alex because the first four in my list is exactly the same. You got an undisputed at 1, an undisputed at 2, 2 times. You got an undisputed at 3, 2 times. And then you get to Canelo at number 4. But number 5, like I said before, it's open to interpretation. I like Alex, what he says about Batabiev, but for me, he's just not active enough. Yet again, succumbed to injury, again for the undisputed, and yet Bivol goes on another knockout victory in his last fight, which just convinced me pound for pound after beating Canelo, after beating Zotto.
Next.
You know, this man is at that number 5 for me, followed by you know who.
Trey, all day.
All day, every day. So you know what? You guys pretty much have just kind of spoiled the party for me, man. Because you know what? Just to keep it real, but if I'm honest with you, the way this list is right now in terms of the top 5, I would just about squeeze in Bivol as the 5th person, and then Bam potentially 6th, 5th, I would say. So my list is Usyk definitely number 1, Inoue has to be 2, Crawford 3. That would be my top 3. The only reason why Crawford for me is 3 is just activity. He's obviously got his fight coming up in August. He might, obviously not might, or just depends on what happens, of course. He might obviously do madness and, just gets a tremendous knockout or whatever. So that might put him above Inoue. But for me, just in terms of just the division, what he's been able to do, Usyk's just one of my favorite fighters in boxing right now. And I just think for what he's achieved, he has to be number 1. So that would be my 5, top 3, and number 1.
Definitely. I've seen that list, man. I don't even have Earl on my top 10. Is that crazy to me?
No, that's
it's
having Errol in anybody's pound for pound list right now. It's just craziness.
It's crazy. I got everybody's number 1 guy. Shout out to my man. Rest in peace to my brother G. We would go back and forth on the show Boxing Bros about this all the time. About this guy that I was big on, and it's Alexander Usyk. Usyk is the man to me. You know what I'm saying? And everybody knows that. I can't hide how I feel about this warrior. He's number 1. Everybody knows I champ for the little guys. So I got Inoue as number 2. And not only that, number 3, I'm with y'all. I got TC. You know what I'm saying? What he did to Spence was disrespectful.
Listen, he came out to Eminem and whooped this man's ass.
I seen it when it came out. I was like, man, listen, I wish I could change my pick. I thought it was gonna be a draw. I thought the with everything that was going on, I thought it was gonna be a draw. Not at all. Number 4 is my main man. Every time he fights, I am Mexican. Saul Canelo Alvarez. I got him at number 4.
Come on.
Everybody, if you know me, you know Canelo can't do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Saul.
I've forgotten about Canelo on my list as well.
Yeah, and number 5. Since I'm such a champ of the little guys, and I'm so impressed by what Bam has been doing, I got Bam at number 5. I got Bam at number 5. I got all the other fighters. Will follow in line, but that's my top 5. You know what I'm saying? I would have Better Beef up there, but we seen with him and with his situation. He fell down, and like I said, it's what have you done for me lately when it comes to this great sport of boxing that we love? You know what I'm saying?
He didn't have his life alert on.
Yeah, that's scary. To me, it's scary about Better Be Tour. I think the clock is ticking on him. You know what I'm saying? I think the clock is
Absolutely.
ticking.
He's got a tremendous knee injury that he's recovering from, medial knee surgery at 39 years of age. You know, I'm very skeptical about what condition he may return in, you know, and whether it'll be detrimental to his performance.
Definitely. Just moving right along here. We got the another question right here. I got this is the third question. Moving on to the soap opera of boxing. Y'all ready to get into the soap opera of boxing?
Let's have it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
There's always another story behind the
Always.
story when it comes to this.
It's a soap opera. As a story continues.
This
The
is
curious case.
Yes, the curious case of the Ryan Garcia and
Oh,
Devin
man.
Haney show. You know, this has been a love triangle in itself. You know,
It's crazy.
listen, I'm trying to tell you. First question: Ryan Garcia has said Devin Haney fight did between 400,000 and 500,000 U.S. pay-per-view buys. Do y'all believe it? And if so, where's the money? Why haven't these guys been paid yet? And I'm going to start with Mr. Neutral Corners on this one.
400, 500,000. Let's address that as we stand. 1.2 million versus Tank. The numbers are coming through for Tank. Everybody's arguing about it, but let's stick to Haney versus Garcia. Now, we know Garcia brings in the crowd from his Instagram army, millions of followers. So he's the money man. So follow him. To be fair to say, between 4 and 5, if you're looking at Haney and Tank to do more than that, then you've got to say Ryan Garcia has pulled in more than 500,000. He's definitely the money man. I would expect 400,000 to be the absolute minimum. I would go so far as to say that the absolute maximum could have been around 600,000. By the by, doesn't matter. But I do believe them figures. They're all guesswork. Nobody knows the actual true figures because all Prime, BBC, DAZN, they don't like to tell you the actual true figures because it's not in the best interest of the public knowledge. Let's get that straight. Now, if you're talking about the other guy, the wee guys, Tank versus Martin, I don't believe the figures that are going round. I think that's absolute bare minimum. There's a minimum. I think there's an agenda behind it, but that's another story. But going on to the Garcia versus Haney, definitely over 500,000 in my opinion.
Now, that was a two-part question. Part two to that question is, why haven't these young men been paid yet?
The reason they haven't been paid yet is standard practice within PPV contracts on both sides, whether they're A side and B side, that these PPV installments are paid in installments and could be back end up to 2 years. Now that's standard in the contract. Now usually it's settled within 12 months. But the reason Golden Boy have not had, I would say, been prompt on payment is probably to do with the Ryan Garcia NYSEC case and seeing where they stand after the ruling. Now, the ruling was that they had to be paid $1.2 million from the purse of Ryan Garcia. So once they've taken that into account, got everyone squared off, that means they'll then start payments. But I don't believe in the fact that these guys are actually crying about payments when they know about PPV payments, or is this the first time that Devin Haney's done a PPV? You tell me.
I'm going to swing that right over to you. I see you shaking your head, Alex. I'm going to swing that right over to you. Same question.
All right. Well, originally, my original prediction was the fight between Haney and Garcia was going to do 300 to 350 pay-per-view buys, but considering all the controversy and because it is a freak show, the soap opera of boxing, it will attract a little bit more eyes. So I do buy that it got between 400 to 450K pay-per-views. That I think that's pretty good, especially compared to what is reported for Tank, and Neutral might be onto something. They might want to make it seem a little bit close, but I don't think it's too far off from that one. But for why these young men haven't been paid, uh,
Yeah, please.
I'll ignore that. But as for why these young men haven't been paid, like Neutral said, it's standard practice for pay-per-views to be paid in long-term installments. Maybe these guys just expected because it was going to be a bigger pay-per-view for them. They were going to be like, hey, I'm going to get my money a little sooner because of all this influx of promotion, quote unquote, that they have done. But I think they're just being impatient. Devin's probably never seen pay-per-views this high, and Ryan is just a lunatic. So I'm going to leave it at that.
I agree.
Right to you, Trey. Right to you,
No,
Trey.
we have to agree. We have to agree with that for sure. Boy,
How do you feel about that, Trey?
you know what? The lads have pretty much broken it down in the best way possible. I agree with them both. I definitely feel that it is something that's going to be prolonged due to the contractual agreements, between, the promoters, etc., etc. And the buys, I do think it makes sense because of the controversy that it involved, during the fight, especially during the fight week, and what happened. The whole build up. Ryan Garcia. Some people thought he was crazy. Some people thought it was, he was talking facts. But look, at the end of the day, everyone tuned in. We watched it. We saw the freak show. And I'm just happy that there is a resolve to the curious case of Ryan Garcia.
Here's the thing. I love boxing like the next guy. I grew up on it. When did numbers become such an issue where everybody just doesn't talk about the fight? Everything just became about numbers. Everything became about numbers. It's not the eye test no more. It's not like who is good anymore. It's all about the numbers. That's what people look at, and that's what has been ruining the sport in some type of way. But sticking on the Ryan Garcia news and his whole circus, Ryan's pockets is going to be hit again because I heard that Mrs. Jordan Plant is seeking legal action against Mr. Ryan Garcia, and this is just piling on. More lawsuits after lawsuits after lawsuits. I swear, after everything goes down, man, just like Neutral was saying, after everything, and Alex was saying, after everything goes down, I think like he might have 500, 250, you know what I'm saying, in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Okay. What do y'all think, Trey? I'm gonna swing it to you, man. What do you think about this lawsuit with Jordan Plant?
Yeah, it's just like, you know what? I don't like what's going on with that situation, man. I always say you don't want to mess up a broken home, and situations like that, you're just putting out, allegations, and with his following. So whatever he says towards his family, his army, they're most time gonna believe it. So, due to the legalities of things, look, it makes sense why she's doing that. And Garcia, he's just gonna have to pay the price, man, for opening his mouth. Because from where I'm from, and Trill, you probably agree with me, we don't kiss and tell. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna, handle certain business, you don't need to kiss and tell about it. So if you've done certain things, you don't need to be pushing it out on social media. But the reasons why they push it out on social media is because of the viewing, the engagement. So it's all part of the business at the end of the day. So that's just my thoughts on that.
Neutral Corners, I'm gonna swing it down to you.
Listen, when we're on the street in the Warrior, there's a code. You don't bring family into the row. You don't bring family into, and especially a man's woman, right? What he did there was bare on disgusting. And for the whole world to see. And it's no little wonder he's going to get sued, and royally so, and should. Hopefully, in this case, that he gets what he deserves.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Alex? How you feeling?
Well, this lawsuit, I expected it because, Jordan's not a fighter, and I wasn't expecting anything less, but I don't think that lawsuit's ultimately going to go anywhere. Like Trill says, no wives, no kids in the fight build-up. You don't bring that stuff up because that'll really get you hurt, and that'll really cause tension. But
You crossing the line.
yes, exactly. I don't expect it to go anywhere. I wrote that Ryan is still a jagoff who needs to get spanked by his daddy, but we leave that for his parents to decide. But I don't think that lawsuit's going to go anywhere. And like you said, Ryan's just dealing with more and more. Logan Paul has a legitimate claim against him for the defamation of his energy drink. And it's not going to look good. I don't think Devin's lawsuit's going to go anywhere either. That's clown activity. And I'm so upset about that because I like Devin. But I'm like, why are you not punching this man in the face in the ring again? Don't sue the man. Punch the man.
That's what I'm saying. You're 100% right.
Totally with you with that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta with you with that. That's the only way it's gonna sit right in your heart. The only way it's gonna sit right in your heart is if you get back in there with them. Yeah, I'm totally with y'all. Y'all know how I stand. No women, no kids, and I feel like men's wife is off limits, especially if you lying on your. That's one rule that you never do as a man. You never lie on your. Then that's why he's getting the defamation lawsuits, because of that one fact right there. You're saying stuff that isn't true. And of course, Ryan feels the need to feel like, he got the best lawyers and he can keep this in court for forever, But yeah, I'm with you guys, man. Ryan is being a jerk. He's doing what these young trolls do, trolling, saying anything to get any controversy, because he's learned that any press is good press, whether it's bad, whether it's good, people are still going to tune in and want to talk about it, and it still brings more clicks to him, more engagements to him, which brings more dollars, which is disgusting, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? This is the game that we're in.
I apologize for that. That's my generation. I'm 24. Stupid idiots.
Alex,
you're a doomed generation, son. You're doomed.
Alex did it. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to Mr. Styles and Raw in the comment section. I'm gonna get y'all on when we get on, because I see sometimes there's a lot of respect between us, but we don't agree. Like y'all, you might feel a certain way, and and Rob might feel a certain way about different than us. So I would love to have y'all on. That's gonna be an epic show. You know what I'm saying? And a fantasy fight between your excellencies. You know what I'm saying? Turkey Al-Sheik's favorite heavyweights. Fury versus AJ. Who takes the win? Yo, listen, I've been getting crap. For my comments I made about Turkey Al-Sheik.
What's happened now?
I've been getting crap. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm gonna listen. Y'all keep doing that, and I'm gonna come out with my series, Surviving Turkey Al-Sheik, and y'all gonna be mad.
Episode 20.
Y'all gonna be mad when I come up with my show, Surviving Turkey Al-Sheik. You know what I'm saying?
You don't see TC holding that man's hand. You don't see TC holding that man's hand.
No, he's not. He can't.
Tyson Fury was doing everything in his power not to hold that man's hand. He was going his way. He felt so uncomfortable. If you ever been around women, right? If you ever see around a woman around a creep, how uncomfortable they look. You should have seen Tyson Fury's face. You know what I'm saying? He felt so uncomfortable. That's not even right. Even when he had his hands on my man AJ's thighs, my man AJ kept moving forward. As we know, those are his two favorite fighters. You know what I'm saying? Two favorite fighters. But in a fantasy fight between the Excellency's two favorite fighters, Tyson Fury and AJ, who you think takes the win?
You want to go first, Trey?
Yeah, I could
Yeah,
go.
you take that, Alex. Go ahead.
No, Alex, you go first. Yeah, you might as well start us off, my brother.
All right. Well, I'm ashamed to admit, but when Fury was making his comeback, I was a massive fan of his. I believed the bullcrap of the Fury cult, as Hatman Strikes Back would say. I was there. I was part of it. I thought this man was the best heavyweight in the world, and I thought Wilder was the crap too. But that was my American bias. But I went back and forth of this for years, but I eventually came to the light, and I thought that AJ is just a bad style matchup for Fury, especially with the tactics he's used since he joined the Kronk gym, where he likes to use his size and his strength to lean on guys. But when he goes against someone like we saw against Francis, who's physically stronger, he can't use those tactics as well. And AJ, you can't make a mistake like that and just start hugging the guy, because he's going to start pushing you off and landing that right hand. So I think AJ would KO Fury in 7 rounds of a competitive fight.
Going for AJ, the big man. Ooh.
Trey, how you feeling?
Yeah, you know what? Like Alex, I can't even lie to you. It's been a sort of a roller coaster on that journey. I can't even lie to you. Both guys have just gone through different trajectories. Obviously, at one point, Fury, you thought this fight would never happen because Fury's on a different level. AJ's just obviously lost back-to-back fights against Usyk, so you was thinking, nah, this fight will never happen. But now, you know, just based on what's happened, we saw the vulnerabilities against Usyk for Fury, and I just think that Joshua, he punches hard, and if he lands some of the shots that Usyk landed on that night, then, you know, we could be looking at, you know, Joshua potentially being the first man to really stop Fury, as in stop him whilst he's on the floor, knocked out clean, but takes the 10 count, not doing no Undertaker get up. Nah, he's gonna stay down. So, you know what? For me, I would say AJ gets it. But if Fury decides to have one man in his corner, which is Sugar Hill, his dad away, all those other guys away, if he's got that one person in his corner, then it's a completely different scenario, in my opinion. And I just think that, you know, Fury could just do what he does best, have fun, and get the points victory.
Neutral.
It's an absolutely fantastic prospect which British boxing has been asking for many a year. Rather much in like, you know, some American matchups that have been far too long in happening. This one is no longer, as Trey correctly says, fantasy. I truly believe this fight will happen next year. Depending on how AJ fares against Daniel Dubois, if I was to answer your question right now, before this fight, I would say it's a fascinating matchup. You've got, I can't believe that Tyson Fury would walk into an AJ fight and try and fight like he did with either Usyk or anybody else that he lost to. I think Fury, sorry, not anybody else, the way he lost to Usyk, Fury would, for me, pose the most problems for Anthony Joshua stylistically wise, because he'd be awkward to punch up. I know he's fought Klitschko the same size as him, but Tyson Fury's 6'9". I remember David Hay fought Valiev 7'1", and what a bloody great job he done with that. But can AJ do the same? I don't know. Usyk, nobody's like Usyk, as you quite correctly said, gentlemen. He is the master. He is the king. I can't take a man's failure at beating one of these elite and a generational elites that you'll see never again, probably, in your lifetime. But what I'm saying is, you can't judge a defeat of Alexander Usyk. Both AJ and Fury have lost to that man. Together, British boxing, PPV, Wembley Stadium, it would be an absolutely superlative, magnificent an event. And yeah, the memories of being one of his victims will soon be gone. And that will happen in 2025. I truly believe. But at this moment, I can't tell you who's going to win.
Vince, neutrals on the neutral one. Love it.
I'm on this one for now.
Love it, man.
I'm not on the fence at all if this fantasy fight ever takes place. You know, I think AJ's gonna smoke his boots. You know?
Ooh.
I think he stops him. I think he gets him out of there. The same way I think he does Daniel Dubois. AJ is not playing. You gotta understand. This is the guy, other than Usyk. You see his resume. There ain't no play with his resume. You know, everybody else been playing. They've been playing.
Yeah. I don't know where James Toney came out with that.
You
Oh,
see?
AJ hasn't fought anybody.
Yeah, he got to do his homework. You know what I'm saying? He got to do his research. You know what I'm saying? AJ is focused. You know what I'm saying? Like, people always used to make this thing about AJ. I mentioned this on the last show, calling him mentally weak and all this other stuff. You're talking about a guy who actually cares. He's a guy that actually cares. He's not one of these champions that says, I don't have to do none of this other stuff. All I need is just a big right hand. It's never, you know what I'm saying? That ain't AJ. AJ goes in there and gives 100%, and he's down on himself if he doesn't accomplish his goals. This is what you want in your champion, in your fighter, in your prize fighter that you shuffling over money to, right? So why would you discredit AJ? I just think that AJ will be too much for Tyson Fury. I think it's done. He's done. Too much of the partying, too much of the up and down. Not putting himself in there with the fighters that's really going to challenge him and give him the chance to win. I think that the Francis Ngannou fight was a shadowing of what happened with Usyk and what's been going on. I've been called it. I've been said that there's no way that a Tyson Fury that was going to beat Alexander Usyk. Look at his resume. Look who he's been fighting. He's not been fighting nobody to put him in a position to beat somebody like an Alexander Usyk. And all everybody kept telling me was puffed up middleweight.
Yep.
But we've seen otherwise. So
It was either puffed up middleweight or Dosa.
Yeah.
They got tricked by the wordplay of the great Gypsy King. They got tricked by the great wordplay of the Gypsy King, which made you believe that this was really going to be that.
Yep. Unlike this man right here who talked the talk and walked all the walk.
Oh, I love that. You know what? You got to show us that properly, Alex, man. Like, that looks tremendous, my brother, man. Honestly, that's what you call artwork.
Shout out to AJ. Shout out to AJ. And I think that he takes that fight in a fantasy fight. And yeah, I honestly, I just got to see if Tyson Fury shows up in December to fight Alexander Usyk. I got to see if that happens. I don't know if that happens.
Johnny Nelson ain't too sure.
I believe it when I see it.
Yep.
I said as soon as he lost, and the minute Tyson Fury said, I'm going to do this, that, and I'm going to the tip.
Everybody's been like I've been Nostradamus when it comes to Tyson Fury, right? Because I've been predicting everything. Like, that fight's not going to happen then. I bet you he pulls out. I bet you there'll be a cut. Everything that I said happened, right?
Yeah.
This is not like I'm some Nostradamus of boxing. These are all
No, because the writing was on the wall years ago with this guy.
for years and years and years.
Yeah, but when it comes to Usyk, I can. But listen, any man who says I'm going to spend time on a rubbish dump is not going to come back to boxing. So for me, I just think he'll make some excuse later on in the year, and that'll be off, and he'll save himself for a non-title grand PPV event in another year's time with Anthony Joshua, who may well have retired in that time. That's what I can see, an exhibition type meeting.
I don't see that. We'll see.
You know, we'll see. Moving right along. This. I hope this doesn't put anybody to sleep. Michael Benson has reported that Shakur Stevenson will be moving forward as a free agent after his fight this Saturday night. What do you guys think? What do you think is next for the young fighter? Should he with Bob?
I don't believe Michael Benson for 1 minute. I think this deal's already been done. And Shakur Stevenson will be a matchroom fighter after this fight.
Of course. Okay, Trey, how you feeling? That was neutral corners. Hold on. Before we go, you can't just say something like that. I was trying to look at the time. I'm trying to look at the list. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, do it all.
Yeah.
But then,
What's your source, Neutral? What's your source?
You try to
It's called Mr. Neutral's Sixth Sense Instincts.
Okay.
You have a feeling he will be going to matchroom. I hear that. What's going on with you, Trey? How you feeling about this?
Oh, yeah, no, it's a fair point from Neutral. I do see why his sixth sense is saying that Shakur would sign, but don't you guys think that Bob Arum's gonna just, try and weasel his way and just offer him a decent few fights, up his pay a bit, and say, look, we want you to be the face of Top Rank now with this new bumper contract, man, and just to avoid the likes of Eddie, Frank, Benson, you got these UK promoters, Golden Boy, etc., to sign him. So, look, I'm going for Shakur potentially to stay. Or, actually, I want to throw this over to you both, because you both are in the States, actually. What do you think of Mayweather's chances of, securing a deal with Shakur Stevenson?
Well, with Mayweather, I wouldn't be too certain, but hey, Mayweather and Tank aren't on the best of terms at the moment, so he might just try to spite him in another way. He released the sparring footage. He might just sign the Ultimate Snooze Fest champion.
That's a very harsh statement.
You gotta respect it.
I passed out twice.
I say, well, they're brutal. The American public are brutal.
No,
I love it.
Not what he's telling you is that we gave it to him, that award, Snooze Champion of the Year, twice in a year. It's to the point that we actually are naming the award the Stevenson Snooze Fest Award.
What earned him? What earned him the last reward then? What fight was
his fights are not. Listen, he's putting these fights to win. He's putting these fights to win instead of putting these guys to sleep. He's putting the audience to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not fair to his career. And that's why he can't get none of these fighters in there to fight him. It's because of his boring style, But he keeps winning. That's all that matters. But we can't help the fact that, we wake up in the 12th round and, we don't, we know we ain't missed nothing. It's the same thing the whole 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're being very unfair to De Los Santos. Very unfair.
Yeah,
that was a fight of his life, and he fought really well. And he's a hard puncher. He's a very hard puncher.
They should have did that again. He got away with.
I can't wait for De Los Santos' next fight, because it's going to reveal a lot of the rhetoric to be wrong about Shakur. That's just my opinion.
There's nothing wrong there's nothing wrong about Shakur. Shakur's a great fighter. It's just not entertaining.
Skills pay the bills, but they don't bring the audience in.
Exactly. That's what we're not saying.
Not everyone could be a Tank Davis.
Nothing about. But as far as all right, who does it go to? As far as Trey, what do you think? Neutral said, will you believe he'll go to matchroom? Might say Mayweather.
I'm saying he could
I don't
say
think Mayweather at all. There's bad blood there. Mayweather really doesn't like the kid. If you remember, Shakur Stevenson got into a heated back and forth with Mayweather's daughter Yaya a long time ago, and ever since then, it's a little bit of shade. And you know that Shakur Stevenson is handled and managed by Jay Prince, who once handled businesses for Floyd Mayweather, and there was a situation there and a fallout there. Everything went by smooth, but there's still a little situation there. So I don't see that ever happening. I think Floyd was playing mind games, you know, the enemy is my enemy is my friend type thing. But we don't like Shakur Stevenson either, because when Shakur Stevenson had the chance to sign with Floyd Mayweather, he went with Bob. And so, no, I don't think that will ever happen. But go back to the question at hand, he's a free agent. Where do you think he would go? Neutral said he will go to Matchroom.
I think he'll stay. I think he will stay with Top Rank, man. I think Top Rank will somehow weasel their way to just keeping him and just make him into the face, give him these fights. And look, you got potential. You got what, Pitbull? No, Pitbull's obviously moved up to 140. So at 135, there are some opportunities there. But Tank's there. That's the question.
Yeah, I agree with Trey. I think he'll stay with Bob because Bob wants to get into the Tank Davis pay-per-view business, even though the last one wasn't that great. But if you get another guy who you can perceive as a threat, because this happened with Mike Tyson, my dad told me, the pay-per-views, when he was knocking everybody out, they started going down because it started being predictable. If you put Tank in with a threat, someone who's so defensively sound that Tank might not be able to get him, you might sell some pay-per-views for once.
I see you had your hand up, Neutral.
There's a danger of overexposure with fighters, entertaining fighters and PPV. If you make every fight PPV, you're going to lose customers.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go, why am I going to pay $80, $90 for something that's already, I know it's already going to already happen.
Yeah.
So for me, they got to be very careful. They're going back to Trey, and he'll stay at Top Rank. Trey, do you remember Bud Crawford?
Yeah.
Everybody thought he was going to stay at Top Rank. Everybody thought he was going to resign.
He did a couple of times. When we thought he was going to leave, he re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
It happened a couple of times.
Well, Neutral also, Bob Arum has never come out and said, "Oh, I could have built that mansion in Beverly Hills with the money I paid Shakur Stevenson." You know?
Yeah, all the money I lost on the Crawford.
I know, but that even cements my reasoning it even further, is the fact that he's made no attempt to reassign him yet.
Mm.
If he was willing to let his contract run out, that means he is not 100% about his future. So Eddie will just jump in there like he has for the last 8 American boxers, elite boxers. If Boots is there, Shakur's going to go. Simple as that.
Y'all all made some great valid points. I see him staying with Bob. I can see what you're saying with the Matchroom and Eddie Hearn's pocketbook. But I could also see another way. I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick. I could also see him play the free agent role, right? And seeing what's out there, seeing him not having Bob and none of these people involved in this, and Jay Prince and Al Heyman negotiate a Tank fight on their own. I can also see them doing that. It has been done before. I think that these guys, if then he can go re-sign with one of these other guys, if a situation works. But it's a gamble. It's a huge gamble that fighters have made before, and sometimes it has hurt them. I remember seeing Rockman, instead of signing that deal after he knocked out Lennox Lewis. He said that, nope, I'm going to be a free agent. I'm going to do it on my own. I know later on he realized that he should have signed that contract. Same way with Deontay Wilder. When he turned down generational wealth. Listen, this has happened in boxing. So we just got to see how he's going to play it. If he really believes in himself that he can beat a Tank Davis, why not try the free agent route and see that you can go over there and get something working with Al Heyman? Maybe he can work out a 2-fight deal because Pitbull is over there as well, and maybe if you could move up in some and try to challenge for the 140, and after you do that, I don't know, his possibilities is endless. Or like you said, maybe he does stick with Bob. Maybe he does stick with Bob. That's a possibility. Maybe Bob comes in last minute and scoops him up and says, "This is the plan I got for you. This is the route I see for you. I see you and Lomachenko meeting up and doing this over here on this side." And then we know negotiating a fight with Al Heyman on that side, because Bob has worked with Al, and they did record-breaking numbers, So I think that can also happen. And we have seen, like Neutral said, we have seen Eddie swoop in with his mighty pocketbook and snap and come in like a Captain Saber and
Whoosh,
you know,
whoosh.
come in, you know what I'm saying? And it brings it in. So there's a lot of possibilities. There's really a lot.
You ever seen a guy come down with a jump? He's on a bungee jump, and he just picks up somebody from the ground and takes him in the air. And that's Eddie Hearn with these boxes today in America. The reason why I think going the free agent route is a wee bit too dangerous for Shakur is the fact that he's not a PPV seller.
Yes.
If he was to gamble on that, being a PPV star, I think he's going to come short. He needs Eddie to really make him up there. And maybe after Eddie, go solo. He's still young enough.
Yeah, still
Good point.
This weekend, gentlemen, we're moving right along here. This weekend, we have tremendous, I want to say, showcase of boxing. You know, just the up and coming fights. Right here, we got O'Shaquie Foster is fighting, Shakur Stevenson is fighting, Keyshawn Davidson is fighting, Abdullah Mason is fighting. We got Williams Zepeda fighting.
Kelvin Davis.
It goes on and on. We even got the Nate Diaz and them fighting over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got an interesting fight for you. We got Daniel Jacobs making his return against Baby Shane.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. You got tell us about that. He's making it return. That's crazy.
That's a crazy fight. Shout out to I was just talking about Sugar Shane Mosley, Jr. I was saying that, you know, somebody made this thing about sons of fighters who get into the sport. They said it's hard for them because, you know, they didn't have to come through that type of mud. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have to come through that type of poverty. You know, this is because great champions.
Chris Eubank Jr., Knight, Connor Ben.
Yeah. You know,
Just from this side alone.
Marvis Frazier.
Yeah, you got that.
Azim Rahman Jr.
Listen, even go down to Mexico with Chavez and Chavez Jr.
Oh, Chavez Jr. That's the perfect one.
Yes,
that is actually a perfect one.
Yeah. At least that dude got to be a world champion.
Ricky Hatton's.
Damn, that was sad.
Campbell Hatton. He's a legend.
Yeah. Campbell, he got some time to make it happen. Shane Mosley Jr. To me, listen, this man for a young man who just came in the sport and didn't want to have his daddy hand him anything free. I'm impressed with the young man that he's still trying to do it, still trying to, you know, prove to himself, not to anybody else, that, you know what I'm saying, he loves us and he's doing it because he does, you know what I'm saying? And I like seeing him out. Shout out to Baby Shane, you know, he's got a tough outing against Daniel Jacobs. But that's how it's been for Shane Mosley Jr. He's been like Gabriel Rosado to me. You know, he's been working on the job. He's been learning on the job, and being one of those guys. He's still learning, and he's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's not gonna just walk through Shane, because Shane has showed, if anything, he showed heart. He's shown heart. So I would love to tune in and see that fight. What fight are you guys are interested to see? Once again, you know, we have O'Shea Foster. He's fighting. We have Shakur Stevenson fighting. Keyshawn Davis is fighting. Abdullah Mason is fighting. Williams Zepeda is even fighting. You know what I'm saying? Then we got the UFC guys putting on the gloves. You know what I'm saying? Who are you looking forward to seeing this week? And I'm gonna go with you, Trey.
Oh, this week. Oh man, this week there's a few, but look, I want to see mainly Shakur's card. You know, that whole card is looking
young fellas.
Tremendous. You've got like three kings that's kind of headlining that. Obviously, Shakur's the main headlining, but it's going to be really interesting. And I kind of want to see what Shakur does in this fight. Obviously, The reason why Shakur, I would say, doesn't have a lot of fans from across the way, I would say here in England, is because he openly always comes out and says, look, I couldn't care less what the fan thinks. I'm fighting to win, which you respect at the end of the day, man. But you sort of lose fans by having that mindset. So he needs to put on a show for this performance, because his last showing, yes, he had injury problems going into the fight, etc., etc. But look, he needs to put in a statement. And you said it best, Trill. We need to see him like knock someone out. We need to see a stoppage again. We need to see that ferocious energy, man. Can we see that? People question: is it the weight division, or is it his power? This is what I want to know.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit in that sick, man. Always trying to stick, get it back there. Like, reminds me a little bit of Corey Spinks. It's like he's stealing the victory. You know what I'm saying? He's never sticking down on shots. You know, but yeah, shout out to Neutral.
I mean, that's pugilism for you. It's the art of winning. Hit, not get hit. I blame Floyd Mayweather for raising the bar so high that these other boxers today have just simply no chance of succeeding in that sense. It's frustrating in a sense, because back in my day, not so long ago, 2015, maybe before, but there was never this, you need to do this, you need to do that amongst the fans. They just wanted you to win. When it was Muhammad Ali, he just won. Whether you got the knockout or not, it didn't matter. But Mike Tyson, 21 knockouts in his first 23 fights. It was another one that didn't help the narrative that when you have a bad fight, you've got to come back and have a great fight. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. We all know he's got to win. Shakur Stevenson will win. What you got last time was an anomaly, because he fought with one hand and he was up against a guy who he hadn't trained for. So when you come up against Artem Harutyunyan, whatever his name is, on Saturday night, that's a bona fide fight challenge to his WBC 135 belt. And for me, Shakur Stevenson will come shining through with his superior skill set. I don't care if he doesn't get a knockout. I just want to see him touch him, bang, bang, get in, get out. Hit, not get hit. The Floyd Mayweather way. He set the bar. Why can't this boy do the same?
Because this is not the Mayweather way. See, people see this is definitely not that's not the Mayweather way. The slit, make a miss and make them pay. That's the Mayweather way. See,
but he's going to get another pressure fighter on Saturday in Artem.
And we see what Floyd Mayweather, the great Floyd Mayweather, has done in the ring. I'm not a fan of Mayweather out the ring, but inside the ring, he is the greatest boxer we have ever seen. And if you don't believe me, look up the definition of boxing in the Webster Dictionary, and it will show you the art of hitting without getting hit. And by far, if that isn't Floyd Mayweather, then by golly, who is it? But he used to make them miss.
Shakur is in that.
He would make them miss
category.
And make them pay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm hoping for. Good counter punching on Saturday night.
Doing that 135.
Floyd was an animal at 135.
Pretty boy.
We talking about
Pretty boy Floyd was knocking them all out at 135. Let's see, he went to 140.
Let's not forget when he started getting hand injuries. That was at 140. He started getting hand injuries, and he still knocked out Ricky Hatton going backwards with a check hook. Am I lying?
You're not lying.
You're not lying, man.
I'm flying. We seen what happened with Manny Pacquiao. He got in there with Floyd Mayweather, and he caught that first right hand. The whole fight changed. I thought it was going to be an exciting fight, but Manny seen something. You just can't walk in on Floyd, because if you walk in on Floyd, what's going to happen? You're going to get shot with something, and
you're going to get touched.
You're going to keep on coming through, right? You're going to keep on coming through.
He knows what you're doing before you do it.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between Floyd and Shakur Stevenson. If Floyd was going, and Shakur Stevenson was going out there and giving us Floyd-like performances, no complaints here. I'll be up all night, glued to my TV.
But while we're getting them free, He's cannot moan.
He's not giving us that. He is running half of the time. Some of this stuff is looking like track meets. He is not slipping punches. He is dodging. He's running from the punches. He's scooping all the way back. He's not making these fights. And he can outclass. Like, I agree with everything you said, Neutral. I agree with everything you say. He's a class above the rest, but he never shows it. Yeah. He shows it in the gym when he spars against these guys because he whips these guys' butts all the time in the gym. These elite guys. I heard about all the sparring wars and all the sparring stories. Nobody has got the best of Shakur Stevenson yet, except for Terrence Crawford. I'm being honest. Nobody has got the best.
Saturday night, he cannot run anymore. He will be found out by Artem Harutyunyan.
He'll find a way.
You know
but if he finds a way to beat this man Saturday night,
we got to put him in a smaller ring and make him fight. You know what I'm saying? We got to put him in the octagon.
Put him in a phone box.
And make him fight.
Yes, put him in a phone box, man. That's
the only way. And that's when we'll see the greatness out of Shakur Stevenson. But I agree with everything that you said, Mr. Neutral. You know what I'm saying? I just think he hasn't given us that Floyd Mayweather-ish performance yet. You know what I'm saying?
But he's still young. He's 26 years of age. Give him time. Like, Pretty Boy wasn't really.
Bam's 24. Look what Bam's 24.
There you go. But he's not the finished article.
Exactly.
He can't be the finished article in this day and age at 24. You just can't be.
Yeah. We need to see more from Shakur.
There's too much competition out there. But 20, 30 years ago, there wasn't this much hot competition in nearly every division going.
This young man, what people don't know about Ben Rodriguez is he has taken pay cuts to fight the best.
Sacrifice.
Came down in weight, went to these people's backyards.
Up, down, and he's beating them all.
You know what I'm saying? Fight the guys at what they wanted, been the B side. Didn't complain about promotion or anything. Let the guy get the most money. All that, just let's happen in this fight. I'll prove myself. 24 years old. Shakur Stevenson is
phenomenal. Phenomenal. And that's why Shakur Stevenson is not in my pound for pound list.
Yes.
Although technically he's a 2-week world champion. He was ex unified, but he didn't play the rules, and it cost him.
So, Neutral, is this fight that's what you're looking forward to watching this Saturday?
This is my fight I'm looking forward to the most because I want Shakur to prove himself. I need Shakur to prove himself for the rhetoric for pugilism, because he is a great advocate. But like you said, Trey, he needs that je ne sais quoi of putting a convincing performance in enough for you guys and everybody else, in boxing community to finally say, this guy's the real deal. He's that performance away from it. And once we get that, we get the Tank versus Shakur fight.
But then, lads, let me quickly say this as well. Do you think also his style, and because of the sparring stories, do you think that kind of puts fighters off risking to fighting? Because one, he doesn't draw like a big crowd, I would say, in terms of revenue. It's more of a high risk, low reward fighting the Shakur right now based on what's going on right now. I need to get you guys' thoughts on that. Are those the reasons why he's not been able to get these big fights, like the Lomachenkos, the Tanks, the Haneys? Like, lads, I need to get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that when I went to go say my point, but I think the fact why he doesn't get these fights is the way he has shown himself to be in the fight. Even Pitbull said, I'm not going to be wanting to chase him around the whole night. I'm going to fight. This is the fight. I got into boxing to fight. This is not a fight. I didn't get in here to run track. You know what I'm saying? I got in here to fight. And that's not going to give me the fight. That's not going to give me an entertaining fight. He doesn't want, you know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Also, people don't consider, the sparring wars like, oh, he's this, because people know it's different once you put on those 8-ounce gloves. Yeah. And everybody, the question is still up on Shakur Stevenson about taking a hard shot from a real puncher. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we can sell the tape fight. You know what I'm saying? What happens when you really get touched? We put you in there with a smaller ring. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's what the problem is. You know
We
what
got to
I'm
tie
saying?
his ankles to the corner so he can't run.
Yeah, that was looking forward to seeing this Saturday.
So I wrote down some fights that I would watch in order. The one I'm looking forward to the most is Abdul Manson. I'm looking forward to see where he can go,
Abdullah
especially
Mason,
because he
yeah.
might be fighting Keyshawn in the future. So that I'm keeping an eye on those two. Then Keyshawn's fight, and purely because I have to see where Shakur is going to go with this, Shakur is next up on the list because he can fight guys like Tank or Loma later on if he wins. If he keeps winning, he can eventually get these kind of fights. And the maybes I put in out of respect for Daniel Jacobs' career, I said I might pull a Ned and I might try to watch that fight in a
No, we
certain
gotta
way.
watch
If you
it.
know
We
what I
gotta
mean.
watch it. We gotta watch it.
Yeah, respect to Mosley Jr. for fighting a dude who's probably better than anybody he's ever fought. But if Daniel Jacobs has anything left in the tank, he should be able to beat this guy. And I'm a UFC fan. I love MMA. I'm not gonna watch Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. I can't.
Okay. I'm really psyched on seeing Abdullah Mason and Keyshawn Davidson and Oshaki Foster. I also would like to see William Zepeda because I think that's somebody
Yes.
That's
who
what I
has
forgot. Yeah.
that's somebody that I think that people have
People are sleeping on William Zepeda, in my opinion.
if they're sleeping on them, they need us to be woken up with a left hook because William Zepeda is the truth. I've been calling for one of these guys to try to fight William Zepeda, and nobody wants none of that smoke.
Nobody
That's
does.
A fight that could be made. That's a fight that could be made. If like you said, neutral. If Shakur Stevenson goes to Matchroom, that fight could be made because that's a fight that a lot of people been wanting to see. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got Shakur Stevenson. I mean, him right under Shakur Stevenson. You know, so people want to see who will win. You know, out of him and Williams Zepeda. So
What's Zepeda's record now?
Oh, we'll see.
33 knockouts.
Say 33 knockouts.
I have to check that now. I had it up before.
Nah, he got
33 fights,
30 wins,
27 knockouts.
30 wins,
There you go.
26 KOs.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that is
real deal. Williams Zepeda is the real deal.
I think he is as well. I mean, the 135 division is just stacked, absolutely stacked. And you got guys like Floyd Schofield coming through, Abdullah Mason, and you got Keyshawn there. It's just ridiculous what's the talent at 135 right now with William, Loma, Tank, Shakur. It's the hottest division there.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's a hotbed of boxing. You know what I'm saying?
And anybody can win on any given night in that division.
We need to see this fight, though, lads, man. We need to see finally. We need to. Like, do you guys think it will happen?
All right, fantasy fight. That's the question. That's the last question we're going to end on. A fantasy fight question. Here it is, guys. All right. And since you posed it, Trey, you're going to go first. Who do you got in a fantasy fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tate Davis?
You know what? It's neutral would know best. Obviously, you would obviously know best as well. You're on the WhatsApp group with us, man. Tank. I've been riding with him since the beginning, man, and I'm not even gonna stop, man. That is definitely a fighter that I think he's a global star that needs that big Pacquiao-esque fight, and I think Shakur Stevenson can be that dancing partner he needs to have that big fight, in my opinion, because there's two fighters that are in their prime. Let's say, would you say Shakur's in his prime or touching it? But that's a fight that we need to see. But Tank, I just think eventually breaks him down, takes him to deep waters, and I think, eventually he will get the stoppage, man. I'm going for Tank, man. Honestly.
Shout out to my man AK in the comment section. It says Zepeda is with Golden Boy, not Matchroom. I understand that, but I know they're in the same bed together. You know, and that's Paul.
They're
You
pillow
know,
buddies.
I know they in the bed, same bed together. You know, they you know, the same bed with bed. I mean, I'm talking about the zone. That's what I was meaning, that fight could be made. But down to you, Neutrals Corners, and a fantasy fight. Who do you got? You got Shakur Stevenson.
It's my dream US fight. Let's get that straight. 135. If these two can manage to get belts in the meantime and make it for undisputed, my God, you're talking. I don't know what. It's out of this world. It's truly phenomenal fight that should break all records. You know, whether it be PPV, attendance, tickets, everything. It's just gonna break all. As far as the fight is concerned, the puncher versus the mover, the predator versus the prey with the sting. The only thing the Tank I worry about with him, I never worry about his power and the ability to knock out anybody from 130 to 154. That's how much I appreciate his power. But the question is, can you run from Tank for 12 rounds? You saw Frank Martin evade him, touch him, scoring points, scoring rounds. But Tank is downloading you. He's hunting you down. He's limiting your options round by round until he gets you where he wants you. But with the IQ of Shakur Stevenson, the movement of Willie Pett and Daniel Mendoza, this is going to be the question for Tank. Can he hunt him down for 12 rounds? Because this boy can move, touch, move, bang, scoring rounds, 6-7 rounds. Could Tank rely on the knockout? Of course. Could Shakur Stevenson run around and evade him for 3 or 4 rounds? Of course. This is the danger for Tank. But what a fascinating matchup. Again, I couldn't give you a winner, gentlemen.
What's up, Alex? How you feeling?
All right. Well, actually, I think Tank is gonna knock this dude out in 8 rounds, just like he did Frank Martin.
Come on.
8 rounds. Okay.
Listen, Shakur has the skills, but I don't think he has the chin. And like Neutral said, no one really has the chin at 135 to stand up to a guy who can punch like Tank. Such a prolific puncher with both hands. He's going to trap this dude in the quarter eventually. Now, he may look silly a few times, but eventually he's going to figure out which way Shakur likes to dodge. And I assume it's going to be like Frank Martin. He's going to try to throw that hook and try to circle out. He's going to get caught, and he's going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
Alex, man.
I think negotiations will play out right. This is what I think will happen in this fight. Shakur Stevens will come out pumped up, on fire. He has to. He got Bud in his corner. You know? He's going to have everybody in his corner. He's going to come out. He's going to be super fast. He's going to be Shakur Stevenson that we know. Fighting that Olympic style fighting that he's been doing. Right? Right? So it's going to happen. While he's winning these rounds, everybody's going to be talking about Tank being outboxed. You know? But while Tank is being outboxed, he's landing stuff to the body. A little one here, a little one there. Touching him here and there. Shakur Stevenson is winning these rounds. But he's being touched. The 9th round comes.
Magic number.
After sweeping 8. After sweeping 8. The 9th round comes. He gets caught with something to the body after being touched. Tank comes on. Rocks him with a nice little shot. Buckles his legs. We never seen him do the safety leg before.
No, not yet.
He survives and makes it out the round. He comes out.
I can see you thought about this.
Yes, he's cool playing, man. Yeah.
Comes out the 10th round. To show he's the dog. And that was a fluke. And that's when he's going to come in there in the middle of the ring and show that, listen, that didn't really happen. Let me just prove I got my get back at you.
Yeah. Ho.
He's going to go and throw the left.
Yep.
Once he throws that left, it's good night, Irene.
Mm-hmm.
And Tank is backflipping from a stoppage in the 10th round because he took out Shakur Stevenson.
You could be right. It could be right, but you could be wrong. That's all I'm saying. Don't discount Shakur Stevenson's masterful pugilistic skills. I think he will ultimately be Tank's ultimate test. There'd be no other boxer on the planet, maybe Boots, but that's too far away from Tank. But there is no other boxer on the planet right now that would not be more credible than Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
For both of them.
Because he's
for both
guys need
for both of them, of course.
They need each other.
It goes on the other side of the coin. Shakur Stevenson could not possibly get a bigger fight than Tank Davis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that straight.
Yep.
So you're talking about the biggest fight at 135 you can and I can think of for the good old boxing public. So, and it will be a PPV event, no doubt about it.
Yes.
Even I'd buy it. I'd buy it twice.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I'll buy it
Can you give me that second one, Neutral? Can you give me the second pay-per-view?
I'll buy yours as well, Alex.
Yes. Let's have it.
Right there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for rocking with me, the Commissioner, a.k.a. Trill Dollar Bill, and across the way, USA to the UK. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my co-host Rico, who couldn't be here with us because he's a little bit under the weather. But shout out to the guys, my brothers, for filling in for him and making this a wonderful and dope episode. The meeting of the minds. Shout out to yours truly, Trey, my brother, Mr. Neutral Corners, and my brother down there, Alex. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. This is the 8th episode of Across the Way. Big up to our sponsors. You know what I'm saying? D-Rock Clothing. Shout out to them. You know what it is. You know, real ones do real things. We also wear the real things. You know what I'm saying? And that's D-Rock Clothing. Weird by my man Trey. Trey got it on right there, right now. I can't wait till I get my spot tracks.
Yours is coming soon, man. And true. Sorry as well. Come on, we need to let the people know as well, man. You're too modest, my brother, man. But we need to let people know that you're an artist. You do what you do best.
Oh yeah.
When I walk, I'm activated. When I talk, I'm activated.
The links in the description. The links in the description.
Y'all know what it is. Y'all can find me, Ray Trilogy. Y'all can go on YouTube. I'm gonna drop my album soon. That's the new single out now. It's called Activated, and that's what we are. We're activated. We're activated for boxing.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? The #1 sport in the world. I love this sport, man. It's boxing. You already know. Once again, thank you for rocking with us. Everybody, Trey, tell them where they can find you. Because, you know, you can find me on the Boxing Brothers, and you can find me here every Tuesday, 5 p.m. USA time, 10 p.m. UK time. But, Trey, let them know where they can find you, my brother.
Yeah, you know what? It's very, very simple. Obviously, you've got the iBoxingHub, so just make sure you follow iBoxingHub, and you'll find yours truly, Trey. But if you wanted to follow me, it's yours truly, Trey. You'll find me on the socials, so very easy. So big up to you. And I just wanted to say big up to Alex as well. Big up to Neutral, Hard Talk, loving the posters. These two, I'm not gonna lie, I love the background. Big up to both of them, man. They're yeah, I just love it both, man. That one, I love that. I need one of those, man. So no, big up to you. Big up to
Shout out to my man Neutral Corners. Let them know where they can find you at, my brother, Mr. Neutral Corners.
Neutral's Corner, soon to be Mr. Neutral. Thanks to my good man, Ray Dollar Trill.
You
up there. Give me the idea. I love it. Mr. Neutral. That's what you'll be known from now on. But I've got to be careful. I've just got my blue tick on Twitter. That's where you'll find me at Neutral's Corner. They'll take that away. They'll take that away if I change the name, so I can't do it just yet. But that's where you'll find me. And you'll find me, Hard Talk Fridays, on iBoxingHub. And where I'll always be, Neutral's Corner. I don't do the rest. Twitter, Instagram. That's where you'll find me, and iBoxingHub. Let's have it.
You already, Alex. Let them know where they can find you, my brother.
Well, one of my only social medias is Twitter, or Twitex, as some people call it. You can find me at TBE MMA Fan 1, and you can also find me on Mondays on a YouTube channel called Undefeated Podcast for a show called Monday Night Smoke. That's where you can find me.
Yes.
All the smoke.
Big up to you. Big up to you.
Shout out to everybody that's in the comment section. Thank you for everybody that's watching. They appreciate you guys for rocking with us for another episode of Across the Way, US to the UK, and we're out of here. Production, take us out.
Yeah. This feels good. We're gonna go to Boston to Cali on this one. Level up on these niggas and I know they hate it. Struggling that life, looking aggravated. Got straight